This is Michael Davis, producer of Union Bound, and you're listening to On Faith's Edge with Joe Taylor.
I was using God as a vending machine, and in other words, as long as I did everything that I thought God wanted, I had a plan that I thought He would follow through with and give me what I wanted. So I had this kind of genie thing going, which was not too cool.
Not cool at all. Genie thing. Not cool. God's not a genie. Thank you to film producer Michael Davis for the introduction. Michael is the producer of the new movie Union Bound, just released on April 22nd. I really like this movie. It's the true story of Union soldier Joseph Hoover, who was captured at the Battle of the Wilderness and was taken prisoner. It tells of his escape aided by slaves through the Underground Railroad. You can hear my conversation with Michael at onfaithsedge.com/64. That's onfaithsedge.com/64. Well, hello. Welcome to the 65th episode of On Faith's Edge. On Faith's Edge. My name is Joe Taylor, recovering atheist and your servant in Jesus Christ. This is your place to hear conversations about God and living a life of faith in Jesus Christ. Today we have a 2-for-1 show. First up, I speak with singer, songwriter, and author Paul Good. Paul is releasing 2 really good projects, his new album, Andrea, and his book, Rooster Call. Then, Grammy Award-winning rocker John Schlitt returns to talk about his newly formed band with Whiteheart's Billy Smiley called Union of Sinners and Saints. A New Jersey native, singer, songwriter, author, and speaker, Paul Good grew up on Springsteen and Bon Jovi. As a minister's son, brought up in a conservative Christian home, the support for a career in rock music was less than enthusiastic, and sensing a call to ministry, Paul entered seminary. After graduating in 2001, combining his pastoral experience and passion for music, he took a leap and moved to Nashville to pursue his music ministry. Recording with Christian music industry's top producers and musicians, Good's music has been heard across the globe and on radio. In my conversation with Paul, listen for his view on the godly role of a man. We also explore the question, what is a man's beauty? And Paul goes deep into the joy of grace and acceptance. Paul and I have known each other for about 3 years now. We've talked off and on, seen each other at different shows, and I've been trying to get Paul on for about 3 years. And circumstances, weather, and brain surgery, and whatever else came in the way, kept us from getting together. So welcome to the show, Paul. Appreciate having you, brother.
Great to be here. Really appreciate you as a person and your warm spirit and just inviting nature, and also just your passion for the ministry.
It means a lot to me. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Absolutely.
All right. There are 2 things I'd like to talk to you about today, Paul. First one, your new project, Andrea.
Thanks. It is the new CD that's coming out. The name of the new song is called Man That's Beautiful. And Andrea actually means manliness, man up. Paul says in 1 Corinthians 16, act like men in your faith, be strong. And that word in the Greek is Andrea, actually, so, or a form of Andrea. So we thought we'd put it on there. And the music that the songs that are coming out are going to have the songs that many of the songs have a manly theme, and we scented each CD with Old Spice. Just kidding. But it is it's just encouragement to guys to be who they're called to be, who they're born to be. I've always talked to you a little bit about this in the past, about how society knocks guys down if they act out in their normal boldness. They're scorned for it. That starts from childhood in school. Boys are supposed to learn like girls, sit quietly and not be aggressive. And if they are, they're even medicated. Yet God created men to further his kingdom. He needs men to be manly. And so what does that look like? And that's kind of what I sing about a little bit on the CD.
So what style of music can we expect from this?
No, that's
Paul?
a good question. We try to keep it very current, and also have a little bit of
Hold on, just a second. You can't just walk by that way and do that. Here with Paul Good is Mr. John Schlitt himself.
And Paul and I are good
man,
friends.
John cannot stay away from the microphone. I tell you what, man.
It's there. It just invites me. I can't. I'm sorry, buddy.
No, it's
We're
great.
good friends. He is an amazing artist.
That's right. Oh.
He's also a great carpenter. So I just want you to know we have a lot in common here.
That's right, man. He taught me everything I know.
Absolutely.
In all genres.
Let's. By the way, just so you know, we're not here in the studio. We are here at the National Religious Broadcasters Convention, Proclaim 16. It's
right.
February 2016. Go ahead with the.
So I try to keep it kind of pop, very current. I have a very famous producer that works with me. His name's Ian Eskelin, who is
multi-Dove Award winner.
Yes, multi-Dove Award winner. He does everybody that's real cutting edge out there. And so he and I have been working together for years now, and we've been staying very current with the sound, yet still a little bit unique. Now the new sound sounds a little bit like Coldplay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you'll see that new single is loaded with like guitar ambience and real big drums and very passionate.
But it's definitely a message to men.
It is. It's a message to men and women who care about their men. Yeah, and it's not all the songs are geared towards them. I have some open-ended songs that apply to everybody, but that's kind of where I feel the Lord has been calling me to focus lately.
Do you have a favorite cut? Favorite song off
that's
this?
tough. I would say "Man That's Beautiful," which is the new single coming out. That'll be out beginning of March, out to radio. Man That's Beautiful is about the character of man, how our world focuses on outward beauty, and women kind of get the award for that. But men have a beauty to themselves too. It's in character, and that's what the song's about, looking at Christ as the ultimate beautiful character, man character.
Right. Let's take a minute or two and listen to this cut.
Okay.
Some think beauty can be only seen in a woman, with her tenderness and sweet caress. But I've seen another kind of loveliness that doesn't wear a dress, a soul that's strong and masculine. Standing all alone for what's right, man, that's beautiful. Turning the cheek when you could fight, oh, so beautiful. And quietly endures the wrong, 'cause showing higher love is strong. Man, that's beautiful.
You also have Rooster Call, rising up to be God's man. Let's talk about Rooster Call. I know you've been working on this for quite a long time, and it's coming to fruition. So tell us
Correct.
about the book, Rooster Call.
Yeah, thanks. A while back, when I was out doing shows, I would realize a lot of guys would come up to me and really be encouraged about me being out there, a little bit of an older artist, still pushing, and it really resonated with them, encouraged them to keep pressing on in their faith and whatever their calling would be, and not to give up just because they're over 35. And so... But then the Lord started working on me in many aspects, and how, as I had mentioned, how guys really are kind of lost. Not only does society push them down, but believe it or not, even even in the church and in the faith arena, men are a little bit cast to the wayside. You walk into a church and look at any bulletin, you'll see 4 or 5 times as many ministries or more available to women than to men. And yet if you don't get the guy, you're kind of wasting your time, because unfortunately that's just the way God has set it up. But if you reach the man, everyone will get hit. If you only reach the woman, the guy kind of shies away. You follow? But if you reach the man, the woman will be affected too. It's just how it is. Yet a lot of ministries are geared more towards gals, and they're great ministries. You look at Christian radio. Most music radio is geared towards the soccer mom, believe it or not. Safe for the whole family, and that's great. But the guys, they're not going to go there. They're going to go somewhere else. And yet, we need to be ministering to them. We need to be building them up and encouraging them to be all that they can be in God as leaders and as influencers in our world.
I know that this book, Rooster Call, stems from a Sunday school class you teach.
Yes, it does. Yeah, I actually pastored for a few years after I finished seminary up in Pennsylvania. Did my studies at Westminster Theological and also Biblical Theological Seminary. Came out with an MDiv way back in 2001, and it was there I really got a vision for taking. I was playing music all through my adolescence, and then put it aside to get into ministry, and was a youth pastor and a pastor. But I felt the Lord was leading me to pick my guitar back up again and really use it to wrap evangelical teaching around good pop music, good songs. That's why I'm out there doing it, and kind of with a little bit of a different angle.
Well, this book has turned into a national parachurch ministry. So the work you're doing is important, Paul. Congratulations on the success of it.
Thanks, Joe.
And from man to man, thank you for your work, brother. It's important.
Absolutely, yes. And so I'm out of a Southern Baptist church down here in Tennessee. They've given me a platform to teach men, and we're actually doing Rising Up to Be God's Man, which is the exact subtitle of the book. So
nice.
We're reaching men down here locally as well as nationally.
So we have Andrea, and we have Rooster Call.
Andrea.
No,
it's okay. You're saying it American. If you
I had it right
throw
the
a
first
little
time.
Grecian in there.
I had it right the first time. Andrea.
You did get it. You had it right. You had it right.
Man, I screwed that up.
No.
All right. So we have Andrea.
Yeah.
And Rooster Call. What's up next for Paul Good?
The book should be coming out. The full-length one will be out in May, God willing, and we'll be hitting the road for the summer and for the remainder of the year, following up the radio singles, and also the book will be out and about, coast to coast. And then we also have some overseas interest. The UK is giving us a lot of support, so
nice.
We're going to try to get over there.
Nice.
And see if we can be a part of what they're doing over there. A lot of good radio stations, Christian radio, and they love American artists over there. I don't know why, but they just do.
Fantastic. How did you come to believe in Jesus Christ?
Well, thankfully, I was brought up in a very strong, fundamental, conservative Christian home, and where I was taught the fear of God from a young age, and gave my heart to Jesus at 5. And,
no kidding.
I come from a long line of ministers and Bible teachers, so I was always around that. I was very grateful to be around that. But I had to make it my own. And so, like most guys do, and once you get to college, you just kind of break away from your upbringing. And I started to venture out. And yet the Lord had his hand on me and saved me from some really bad decisions with relationships. And he just had the fear of God in me and just going down the wrong road. And finally, when I was about 23, I turned my life fully over to the Lord, and I said, I know that this has been something that I've taken from my family for so long, but I'm making it my own now. And so I remember saying to the Lord, you got me now, all of it, and I want to serve you in all that I do, whatever I'm doing next.
You gave your life to Christ at 5 years old.
Yeah.
Okay? Then you, like a lot of us do, or a lot of young Christians do, you swayed away from your faith in the college years.
Correct.
Okay? And then you made a decision to come back to Christ. Is that right?
That's totally it.
Okay.
Totally it.
Since that time, since your adult decision to kind of make this real, have you ever had a time where you doubted your faith or even the existence of God?
Yeah. I always knew. I had such a strong upbringing. I never doubted my existence of God, but what I did come to a point where I was using God as a vending machine. And in other words, as long as I did everything that I thought God wanted, I had a plan that I thought He would follow through with and give me what I wanted. So I had this kind of genie thing going, which was not too cool. And as a result, I put myself under a heavy load of works as I got later on in life, about middle age, about 30s, my 30s, 35, and I was, I had this mentality, and I did kind of come from a little bit of a legalistic background, where you do what you're supposed to do, what's right, and God will bless you, And so I was doing all this stuff, and yet God wasn't blessing me in the way that I thought that He should. And I was really strict in my life for many years, very legalistic, trying to do everything that I was supposed to do, and yet God wasn't coming through. It was finally there was a crisis of faith, and I'm like, this is ridiculous, Not only weren't things coming through, but I was having more disasters come on in my life, and finally, through a pastor friend, he introduced me to really what grace was all about, and I can remember finally getting a grasp on that it's not what I do, it's the Lord, what He has done for me, and that's what the problem is sometimes when you grow up in a Christian home, you don't see that big conversion thing. I was a sinner, I was wrong. You kind of get this, I'm pretty good. You follow what I mean?
Right.
And God's going to bless me. And yet you got to get down to the bottom where all the sinners are before He can really use you. And that was a heavy crisis when that happened. Smoked a lot of cigars, but I had a great pastor friend who showed me how grace works. And when you come into that, man, the joy that hits you, that you're totally accepted, God's going to give you what He thinks is best for you, regardless of what your performance is. And He loves you and has got your best interest in mind for you. So when I finally came into grace, my second daughter was born, the one who you saw hooping and hula hooping down here at the NRB conference, and I named her Grace because of what God was showing me, and that's when I entered seminary and went and got my master's divinity, and gave my heart wholly over to Him even more. And I really think it's a process. We keep giving our hearts more and more to Him as He shows us where we're still holding back and trying to control. You know what I mean?
You've always been musical. You've been musical your whole life, but you really kind of started this musical career, or this musical part of your life late in life.
A little later, yeah.
Yeah.
I was interested in music since I took piano lessons, and was playing and in school and the band and everything. And then I started playing music up in the Northeast, out of New Jersey, New York, in clubs and coffee houses in my early 20s, and colleges, things like that. And then kind of put that aspect, the secular aspect, aside. I was a Christian still, but I was just out there living in the world. That's when I was sowing some of the wild oats there. But then when I decided to go towards ministry, God was saying, I want you to get back into the music too, as well as this ministry that I'm using. I really want you to use this powerfully for my glory. You can do it. And so it's been kind of a long haul, because you're trying to be a good musician as well as a good minister. You know, most of the time you're doing one or the other. You know what I mean? But if you want to do good at both, it takes a while, you know. And so, but the Lord has been gracious all through the way, providing, opening doors. And see, most Christian artists, when they go out on the road, they bring a speaker with them. Chris Tomlin, things like that. I'm all in-house.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So that's more of a positive. But people don't get that right away. They're like, well, are you a music guy or are you a preacher? You know what I mean? So I'm kind of like the new Carmen. On the rock side, yeah.
That's pretty good.
On the pop side, yeah.
Pretty good company, though.
I've been actually compared to that a little bit in terms of looks.
Yeah. Well, as we wrap up, Paul, what would you say to that person that is right on faith's edge, about to make that choice to believe or not to believe in God?
Don't let the battle that's raging out there turn you against your decision to live for Christ and to give your heart over to God. There is a battle between the forces of good and evil, and yet God wants you on His side, on the side of light. And when you're in the light that gives the light of life and joy and hope and peace, there's nothing like it. I've been out on both sides of the fence, played in the realm of darkness for a little bit, and yet there is nothing that compares to living in the light of the love of Christ and of God. And the joy that it gives you doesn't compare to the greatest achievement of what the world can offer you. And yet, so don't delay. Hop over. And don't look back.
I don't think we can say anything more than that. Thank you so much, Mr. Paul Good.
Joe, always a
pleasure, my friend. I appreciate you as a man and as a friend. So God bless you, brother.
Likewise. Thank you, Joe. God bless you guys. And on Faith's Edge.
Paul's website is paulgood.org. This link, along with all the other links, can be found in today's show notes at onfaithsedge.com/65. That's onfaithsedge.com/65. Next up, we welcome back Grammy Award winner and a good friend of the show, rocker John Schlitt. Few artists have been more influential in defining contemporary Christian rock and roll than Petra and Whiteheart. The two bands collectively have sold more than 20 million records, generated more than 25 number one songs, and earned more than 15 Grammy and 40 Dove nominations and awards. It seemed like only a matter of time before John Schlitt, lead singer of Petra, and Billy Smiley, guitarist, singer, and founding member of Whiteheart, would team up. That time is now with the union of Sinners and Saints.
Hi, Joe. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Thanks for coming back on.
It's always a pleasure. You guys have always been good.
You have been busy, man. I know that you're working with John Elefante and the Voices of Rock. Very successful Christmas project.
Thank you.
Love Hallelujah Chorus. Not convinced it's all natural, but that's okay. I know it is. I saw the YouTube video, John. I saw the YouTube video, okay?
I do it as an encore.
I'm still not convinced. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Greater Cause. Wearing it out. If you can wear an MP3 out, I'm wearing it out.
Oh, I thank you, buddy, so much. I am trying to stay busy. I feel that God has gifted each one of us with what He gives us with, and we're supposed to use it. And I think it's a great tool, a great key to open up opportunities to praise, talk about the Lord, and that's sort of the vision I go for. And because if you look back in my past, Petra was a very important part of it, and also going in a parallel with that was a band called Whiteheart, and Billy Smiley was a founding member of that band, and he and I actually got together the last year about this time, and he said, "What do you think about us maybe getting together and writing some songs and see what you think?" And that sort of led into the idea of we have our individual sounds. It sounds good together, so we started writing, started doing a record, and all of a sudden, what came out of it was a band called Union of Sinners and Saints.
What a great name!
It does make a lot of sense. We're having a union together, and we're both sinners, and only through the blood of Christ, the sacrifice of Christ, can we become saints.
So is it in production now, or is it out?
Absolutely. We have 2 more songs to finish. Actually, we have 9 songs now. We're going to do 2 more because we're going to do a bonus cut, and it's got to be out. In fact, officially, it'll be out June 15th.
Fantastic.
And it'll be called Union of Sinners and Saints.
Nice. So do you have a favorite cut from this project yet?
Not yet. No, I my favorites are all of them right now. When you're in the middle of recording it, you want to give it your whole heart and your whole spirit, whole soul, and each song becomes like the most important thing in your life at that time. And I've got one I'm focusing on right now, and it's a pretty important song. And the others, to get encouraged, I'll listen to those every once in a while. Go, oh yeah, I like this. So let's take the next one to the next step.
So let's put together John Schlitt and Whiteheart.
Yes,
that sound's got to be fantastic, man.
Whiteheart has always been that sort of classic production sound, and Petra has always been in your face rock, but with really great production too. And I think what we have right now is it's probably a little smoother, but heavy rock. Heavy rock nowadays, that's a whole different definition. But for me, it's allowing me to sing in a little more. If you take the Greater Cause and get the rock songs, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like to me, it sounds like the next level of the Greater Cause, which was my latest solo record, besides the Christmas record.
Sure.
And I think it's leading in a great direction.
I would be doing disservice to John Schlitt fans if I didn't ask you how Dorla's doing.
Oh, Dorla's doing fantastic. She's my. I'll tell you, it's funny you mentioned Dorla because this one song that I'm concentrating on, we did one version of it, and I played it for her. And she says, "I don't like it. I don't like it. You're going to have to rewrite it." I go, "Oh, okay." And at the time, I thought it was pretty cool, and she pointed out all the things she didn't like about it. I'm going, "Okay." So it's actually number 1 on my thinking list right now, and so I've got to go rewrite a song, and because she really is a spiritual dynamo, and she also has an ear for what's working at the time, and so she's a pretty important lady in my life. Besides all the other obvious reasons.
Wow, rewriting a song. I'm not sure how many honey-do lists that appears on for us guys, but only in John Schlitt's life.
Well, Billy is not super excited about it at this moment, but I said, Billy, honest, give it to me. Let me try to rewrite it, and we'll see what we can do.
Again, you have another project.
Yes.
Your book, Why?
Yes, why the Why book was really, I have something called John Schlitt Ministries, and I'm trying very hard to use it to be more volunteer, to be able to volunteer for ministries or orphanages, churches that need help, Christian radio stations that are out, raising money. And I'd like to go in there and with John Schlitt Ministries, basically pay my way through John Schlitt Ministries, go in there as a love offering to them, but have them charge tickets. I don't want to go in and just do whatever you want. No, have a set ticket price. But all the money that comes in goes to that cause. And that way, that can be sort of my way of saying thank you so much for the years and years of support on, in my direction. How can I help bring it back now? And that seemed to be the quickest way to do it at that time. And this book, it sort of explains what fostered this whole thing. It basically, the short of it is, I realize that I'm an encourager, and that we all have our certain gifts, and that seems to be the one that I always lean on. And that's my why. Why do I do it? Why do I go out on the road? Why do I, when I could be at home working in my shop? I'm a woodworker, that's when I'm. And the truth is, I wouldn't be content without going out and spreading the gospel in the way God's allowed me to do. And if money gets in the way, then let's let John Schlitt Ministries take care of that, and let's go out and see what God has in store in this stage of my life.
Fantastic. John, thank you so much for coming back on the show. I really appreciate it.
Always my pleasure.
It's you're important to me, and you're important to the show. We got 3 things to check out for John Schlitt. The Union of Sinners and Saints with Whiteheart.
Yes.
Looks to be fantastic. Billy Smiley, what a duo, man. Your book, Why?
Yes.
Let's not forget about Voices of Rock with John Elefante.
Absolutely. And if we want to put one more in, remember, sure. I'm singing on the Jay Sekulow show all the time.
That's right, man. Listen. Go to YouTube. Look up Jay Sekulow Band, and you're going to hear some fantastic music. Jay Sekulow. Tell.
It's amazing lineup.
Who Jay Sekulow is?
Jay Sekulow is he founded ACLJ, which is really it's a conservative side of the law enforcement. Basically, he has a group of lawyers all over the world, and I do mean all over the world, that totally dedicate themselves to the Christian conservative side of the law. And trust me, there's 2 different sides of law. It all depends on who you're talking to, who's presenting it. Yep. And it's just a wonderful thing because their organization really is sort of the counter. Well, I won't even go into the other. It's a very conservative view of our law.
Right. Now, Jay Sekulow is a guy who's argued in front of the Supreme Court.
Oh, often.
Who is the most prominent Christian attorney in the nation.
I think so, yes.
And if that sounds boring to you, check out Jay Sekulow and John Schlitt. Go on YouTube, check out their videos. Fantastic music with John Elefante and people from across.
Mark Townsend from DC
Mark
Talk.
Townsend from DC Talk. Across the Christian music. Yeah. God bless you, brother.
Thank you, buddy.
See you next time, man.
All right.
We are listening to the newly released The Union of Sinners and Saints single, Christ the Lord is Risen Today, and man, it is fantastic. John Schlitt's website, the Union of Sinners and Saints website, and all the other links can be found in today's show notes at onfaithsedge.com/65. That's onfaithsedge.com/65. Well, that'll wrap up today's show. Thank you to Paul Good and John Schlitt for being with us today, and thank you for listening. You mean a lot to me, and you mean a lot to this show. Remember, God is real. He loves you, and so do I. God bless.
Thank you for listening to On Faith's Edge. You can subscribe to the show via iTunes, Stitcher Internet Radio, or your favorite podcast app on Android, Apple, or Windows devices. To reach out to Joe or leave comments about the show, visit onfaithsedge.com. You're important to us, and we would love to hear from you.